الحمد لله رب العالمين وأصلي وأسلم على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين أما بعد يقول ربنا سبحانه وتعالى يا أيها الذين آمنوا اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ جاءتكم جنود فأرسلنا عليهم ريحا وجنودا لم تروها وكان الله بما تعملون بصيرا إذ جاءوكم من فوقكم ومن أسفل منكم وإذ زاغت الأبصار وبلغت القلوب الحناجر وتظنون بالله الظنونا هنالك ابتلي المؤمنون وزلزلوا زلزالا شديدا. إخوة الإيمان, every day when you watch the news, we see the heartbreaking events that are occurring in the world and more so in Palestine. We see a genocide that is going on before our own eyes, yet we as Muslims are unable to do anything about this genocide. Tonight, Ikhwani Fillah, we look back at one of the worst periods in Islamic history, a period where Muslims faced a great genocide, so much so that the scholars felt that Islam was about to end at this time. If there was a century in Islamic history where Islam and Muslims were to end, it is the century where the genocide and the Holocaust of the Muslims occurred, and this is the 7th century of the Islamic history calendar, the worst century for the Muslims in the entirety. This is the genocide of the Muslims at the hands of the Mongolians, the Tatar, and we begin our lecture tonight, inshallah. Ikhwani Fillah, in the year 1162 of the Christian calendar, in the lands of Mongolia, a young leader, a tribal leader, comes back home victorious. His name is Yesugai. When he comes back home, Yesugai is informed that your wife has given birth to a baby boy. And this baby boy has come out in a strange manner. He has come out holding a clump or a piece or a blood clot. He's come out in a manner that shows that he will be a great warrior. So this young boy, in the year 1162, he was named Temujin. He was called Temujin. So Temujin lives in Mongolia with his family, his father Yesugai as a tribal leader. When he's 8 or 9 years of age, 8 or 9, his father is killed. He has to run away for his life. He's become an orphan at this age. Temujin, the son of Yesugai, has become an orphan at the age of 8 or 9, about the year 1170 or 1171. He runs away into the Gobi Desert with his family. Difficult life, very harsh life. But Ikhwani Fillah, in a space of 20 or 30 years, this young boy Temujin became a great leader in these lands, that he combined all the tribes that were there at the time, the tribes of the Tatar, the tribes of the Mongolians, the tribes of the Uyghurs and other Turkish tribes, and he formed a dynasty the likes the world has never seen. The greatest empire at the time was built by this young man, this young boy, who was born holding a clump or a piece of blood. His name, from the year 603 of the Islamic calendar, the year 1206 of the Christian calendar, became known as Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan, Genghis Khan. And this man and his children and grandchildren are responsible, for the greatest genocide of the Muslims, the Holocaust of the Muslims, where tens of millions of Muslims lost their lives because of this evil leader, Genghis Khan or Genghis Khan. So in the year 603, he declares himself to be Genghis Khan or the Great Khan. And he conquers the entire of Mongolia. He conquers the Jin dynasty in northern of China. He conquers the Goryeo dynasty, Korea. He conquers the entire of Korea, Vietnam, Cambodia, Laos, Tibet. He conquers most of Southeast Asia and is the overall ruler of this land. He is a new empire that has come out of nowhere, no history, no legacy, except brutality. It is common for these people, in the history, that they have entered a town and they have massacred everyone in that town. They have massacred the men, they have massacred the children, they have massacred the infants or the unborn babies in the wombs of their mothers. No one survived in this town, and that town, and that town, and that town. This became like their sign or their emblem or their signature for the Mongolians, the Tatar. So when he declared himself Genghis Khan in the year 603, the world was divided into a number of empires. The first empire that was a superpower for most of history is the Muslim Empire. So the Muslims were bordering the land of Mongolia. The land that was bordering Mongolia is a Muslim empire known as the Khwarazmiya, dawah al-Khwarazmiya. You've heard these days of about AI and programming. Algorithms comes from this man, al-Khwarazmiya. It comes from this area of the world. Algorithms, algebra, all these things come from this part of the world. So the Muslims were divided into a number of empires. The first empire that was literally bordering Mongolia was dawah al-Khwarazmiya. The second empire was the Khalifa, the leader of the Muslims based in Baghdad, in Iraq. But he was a ceremonial, he was a very weak leader. He was only ruling over Baghdad and around Baghdad. The third was the Ayyubids, the Dawla al-Ayyubiyya, that was ruling over Egypt, Syria, Mecca and Medina, and Yemen. As you know, Ayyub is Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, who defeated the Crusaders in the Battle of Hittin in the year 583 of the Hijri calendar, and thereby bringing back Bayt al-Maqdis, Jerusalem, back from the fold of the Crusaders to the fold of the Muslims. So the Muslims were divided. This is the third empire, the Ayyubids. The fourth empire, the entire or most of North Africa and Spain and Portugal and West Africa was under the Muwahidun. Number 5, Turkey right now, Anadol, was under an empire called the Selajika. Number 6, India, or that part of the world, Pakistan, was under the Guriyun. Number 7, near Iran, in the mountainous region, there's a small group of Shias known as the Hashashiyun, the assassins, the Aga Khan family, the Nizari Ismailis. One of the most feared terrorist assassinating group in history is this group of the Ismailis, the most feared sect in Islamic in world history. They massacred and assassinated a lot of Muslim leaders. Most famous is the Wazir Nizam al-Mulk, and they massacred also Christians. So the Muslims were divided until at least 7 empires. 7 empires. Number 2, the other power is the Crusaders, the Christians. The Christians have Europe. Muslims are the most powerful. Muslims are in all the continents that are known at the time. The continents were 3 at the time: Africa, Europe, and Asia. North America, South America, Antarctica, and Australia were not yet discovered. So the Muslims were in all 3 continents. The Crusaders were mostly in Europe: Italy, Germany, France, England, and the ones who were fighting the Muslims in Spain and Portugal. Also, the Christians had rule in a place called Armenia, that's above or north of Azerbaijan. Also Georgia, also near Russia. Also they had some Crusader states in the heart of the Muslim land, in Syria, in a place called Antakya, in a place called Beirut, a place called Tripoli, that is in Lebanon, Akka, Asdod, and of those areas. So this was the world at the year 603 of the Hijri calendar. The Mongolian Empire, number 1. Number 2, the Muslims. And number 3, the Christians. In the year 614 of the Hijri calendar, Genghis Khan is bordering the Muslim Empire, the Khwarazmiya. These are 2 large empires, and most likely they have to collide. So he decides to send businessmen, traders, 450 of them, into the land of Khwarazm Shah without permission. So he sends these people to trade. So 450 of them leave the land of Mongolia, or the lands ruled by Genghis Khan, and they enter Khwarazm. They come to the city of Otrar, 450 of them. The governor of Otrar, he sees these people and accuses them of being spies. And he kills all 450 of them. One of the greatest mistakes in history. was what this man did. In al-Chuq, Yanal Khan. So Genghis Khan is informed that your traders have been killed. You are acting like you're the most powerful leader, and yet you cannot protect your businessmen. Look what the Muslims have done to your traders. 450 of them have been massacred just because they were carrying some wealth. The Muslims were greedy for their wealth. You have to revenge. Genghis Khan is very angry. He's in a heated state. So he sends some ambassadors to the leader of Khwarazm. It's called Alauddin Muhammad Shah. Give me the governor of Otrar, of that city. I take action on him for the crimes he has committed against the Mongolian traders. He has committed a great crime. Muhammad Shah says no. If he has done a mistake, he can be brought to our court system, through our system. You are transgressing. I am a ruler like you are a ruler. Do not disrespect me. He kills one of the ambassadors, tells them, go back, you have no shame. So this even irritates Genghis Khan more. So Genghis Khan, la'natullah alayh, he declares war on the Muslims. And there begins the genocide we mentioned of the Muslims, one of the most difficult and darkest days of our history. Genghis Khan, in the year 616 of the Hijri calendar, they meet the armies of Genghis Khan versus the armies of the Khwarazm Shah. About 600,000 from the Mongolians versus 300 to 400,000 of the Muslims. They fight day one. The Muslims are, mashallah, they're advancing, they're killing a lot of the Mongolians. Day two, they're killing a lot of Mongolians. Day three, the Muslims are still killing a lot of Mongolians, but their numbers are not ending. These people are multiplying and adding and increasing. There's no end to these numbers. So Muhammad Shah, he retreats from the battlefield with his army. Genghis Khan says, now you shall see and pay for the crime of treachery. You Muslims should see. So he sends a group to that city that killed his traders, the city of Otrar. Get for me that governor at all costs. So a small army comes and besieges the city of Otrar. Besiege it for 5 months. They're not able to capture it. One of the members of the army, it's called Karacha or something of that sort, he betrays the Muslims and opens the gates for the Mongolians to come in. The Mongolians, they come in, they massacre a lot of Muslims, but the leader, he retreats back to a fortress, a citadel within Otrar, and he continues fighting. He knows he's wanted by these people. He has no choice except to fight because he cannot surrender. And surrender is one of the worst decisions Muslims will ever make in history. Never accept to surrender, except any other terms apart from surrender. And we should see this a lot when you're going through the history, is that these people, whoever is fighting the Muslims, they don't keep their word. They don't accept the agreement that they have signed. They will break their word at the smallest opportunity they get. So he captures Otrar. And he wants to capture this governor. This governor fights for his life. He goes to the fortress, he fights, he takes bricks, he throws at them, he takes tiles, kills them with tiles, until he falls into a house of a woman next to the citadel and is captured. He's taken before Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan tells him, you are the one who's greedy for wealth. You wanted to take the wealth of my traders, that's why you killed them. Let's see what this wealth will benefit you. So he tells his army or part of his soldiers, go melt some silver. So silver is melted, and this governor is brought, and the silver is poured into his eyes and to his ears. He's killed so in such a brutal manner that even his brains boil because of the heat of the metal silver that was put on his eyes and his nose. Thereafter, Genghis Khan, in one of the most amazing maneuvers militarily, he comes through the desert and he besieges the city of Bukhara. The city of Bukhara is the city of the great Imam Muhammad ibn Ismail al-Bukhari rahmahullah, who passed away in the year 256 of the Hijri calendar. The man who has the most authentic book ever compiled by a human being. After the book of Allah, the greatest book for us as Muslims is the book of Sahih Bukhari. So Genghis Khan comes and besieges this city of Bukhara in the year 616 of the Hijri calendar. He besieges it, and the Muslims do not want to surrender. They have a lot of debates. Some of them say, let us surrender, let us accept the terms, let us just surrender, let us just give out the town. A group of them, they say no. حياة الذل لا نبتغيها. We are not going to accept humiliation. Either we die upon Islam or we live upon Islam. We're not going to accept any other terms. So the group, majority, they do not want to fight. So they open the gates to Genghis Khan after Genghis Khan has promised them that no harm will happen to them. This other group that was debating and refusing to surrender, they went inside the town more and they besieged themselves also in a fortress, in a citadel, ready to die fi sabilillah. So Genghis Khan enters Bukhara, tells them, nothing will happen to you. We're the same. We come from the Turkish tribes. All of us are Turkish. All of us are from the Turkish. Nothing will happen to you. We're here to liberate you. We're here to bring you freedoms. All that nonsense that the conquerors, they say when they come. So they open the town to him, and initially he's very good to them. They exchange pleasantries, they talk, but they say, now Genghis Khan says to them, now your brothers over there, they want us. I'm your guest that they are fighting me. You have to help me fight them. So the Muslims, they take initiative to support the Mongolians in fighting their brothers who are besieged, who are surrounded. So they go, they cover the trenches, the moors where there's water. You know, sometimes in the fortresses they keep water so you can't enter or easily access you'll be shot by arrows. So they cover and they cover all these trenches so it's easy for the Mongolians to attack the Muslims. So this small group, they attacked and they all killed. Genghis Khan walks around Bukhara. He's very impressed by the architecture and the civilization of the Muslims. So he comes to one of the buildings and he thinks, this is not your palace. Well, they tell him, no, this is a mosque. This is where we perform our worship. Oh, this is your mosque. Where do you keep your money? Show me your wealth. You guys are very wealthy. So the businessmen, they show them the wealth. After a short while, as expected, he says to his army, the horses need to be fed. The horses are hungry, they need to be fed. So Mongolians who are a few minutes ago just laughing and smiling and being merry with the Muslims, they take out their swords, and they start massacring the Muslims. They start killing the men, the women, the children. They start humiliating, raping the woman in front of her husband, raping the daughter in front of the father. So much tragedy and massacre happened. In a few days, 600,000 Muslims were massacred in the city of Imam Bukhari, the city of Bukhara, in the land of Uzbekistan. All this time, the leader, Alauddin Khwarazm Shah, he had run away from the battlefield. He's besieged himself in the capital city of the Khwarazmian Empire, a place called Urjanda. Doesn't care. Those are Muslims of Gaza, let them die. Those are Muslims of Bukhara, let them die. It's not our problem. Those are Palestinians. Those are people of Bukhara. It's not us. It's not our problem. That's a mistake. The Ummah, Muslims are one. The thing that's happened to those Muslims there will come and happen to you one day. It will happen to you. If you've read the story of the cows, the white cows and the other cows. So the city of Bukhara, most of the population is massacred. Apart from the people who have skills. The people who have skills, they're taken and they're sent to Mongolia. Engineers, the artisans, the craftsmen, go assist us in Mongolia. Another group of women taken as slaves to satisfy their needs. Another group to join the army of the Mongolians. So, La'natullah alayhi, Genghis Khan, he has completely destroyed the city of Bukhara. He's burnt it to the ground. He's finished most of the population. Thereafter, he goes to another city, the city of Samarqand. The city of Samarqand, also in Uzbekistan. He comes and besieges the city of Samarqand. Within the city of Samarqand, 50,000 from the army of Alauddin Shah, the leader, are in this city. So the Muslims tell them, defend us. No. We don't want to. Let us make peace with these people. Let us talk to them, and so on and so forth. Muslims are wondering, what has happened to Bukhara just a few weeks or a few months ago? It has reached us now. We cannot act the same way as the people of Bukhara. We have to take a different course of action. We have to follow the action that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept for us in His book. So there's a lot of debate. The army refuses to fight. 50,000 of them approximately. So the scholars, the ulama, the imams, the businessmen, the common people, they take up their weapons and they come out of the city of Samarkand ready to fight the Mongolians. The Mongolians initially try to provoke the Muslims into a fight. They bring the Muslims that they have brought from Bukhara and they start executing them in front of them so that they can break the morale of the Muslims. So the battle is almost starting. As the battle is almost starting, the Mongolians, they do something very strange. They run away, Khanifullah. They run away. But these Muslims, they're not trained. Hamasa, there's a lot of passion for fighting for the deen, but they're not following the ways of battle that are required. So instead of going back to their fortress, they follow the Mongolians to finish them as they go back home. That's the assumption that they have. So they follow these Mongolians. As they follow them out of the town, a kilometer or 2 kilometers, suddenly they are shocked. And these people are not running away, they are feigning a retreat, they are pretending to run. And this is one of the tactics that they use every time. So they find in front of them Mongolians, to the right Mongolians, to the left Mongolians, behind us Mongolians. We are surrounded by the Mongolians on all sides. And they fight, and all of them are massacred, not even one of them escaped. So he comes, Genghis Khan, to the city of Samarkand in the year 617 of the Hijri calendar. This is the year 617 now. Same thing he does with Bukhara. He did to Bukhara. He gives them peace, tells them, I will not harm you. The people of Bukhara, you know, they did a mistake. They did this and this and this, but me, I'll keep my word with you guys. Just show me where the businessmen are. Bring all the businessmen for a meeting here. Bring for me all your leaders. At least I honor them. I choose a leader from amongst them, and they rule upon you. I've not come here to take over your lands. I have no problem with you Muslims. I have only problem with the leaders and so on and so forth. The same psychological tactic they use all the time, and Muslims pretend that it's not my problem now, it's the problem of the leaders. It's not my problem now, it's the problem of the businessmen. Yet you do not know that you're all as one ummah. So the businessmen, they came out. The leaders, the elders, the respected people, they all come out of the city of Samarkand. Genghis Khan tells the leaders, you guys go over there, let me talk to the businessmen. The businessmen are taken to a corner, they are beaten up severely, they are tortured. Where's the money? Where's the treasure of Samarkand? Where are you hiding the money? Until they bring out all the secrets of the city of Samarkand after great torture and harm, and they all killed. Of course, the other leaders, all massacred. Then Genghis Khan, as usual, enters the city of Samarkand and he massacres everyone he could find in the city of Samarkand. Over 500,000 to 700,000 Muslims lost their lives in the city of Samarkand in a few days, in a few weeks. So far, we've looked at Bukhara and Samarkand, over 1 million Muslims have already lost their lives in this genocide. Genghis Khan is very impressed by this city of Samarkand in Uzbekistan. So he decides not to burn it. He decides to take it as his headquarters for his next battles that he is going to start against the Muslims. After he conquered Samarkand, he takes 20,000 from his best soldiers, led by a man called Jebe, another man called Subutai. Jebe and Subutai. Tells Jebe and Subutai, go look for Alauddin. وَلَوْ تَعَلَّقَ فِي السَّمَاءِ. Even if he's hiding in the clouds, go bring this leader of Khwarazm Shah. He has wronged me as the great Khan. I need to punish him severely. Look for him in all the lands of the Muslims. Even if he's hanging or hiding in the clouds, you have to go find him. Khanifullah, this 20,000 and what they did is one of the most amazing things in history that we shall look at inshallah tomorrow. So he sits in Samarkand, and this is the year 617 of the Hijri calendar. The year 617 is officially the worst year in terms of massacre of Muslims. This is the year that can be qualified as the darkest year of genocide of the Muslims. What happened? And what are the events that happened in the year 617 of the Hijri calendar, where so many Muslims lost their lives? And what happened to that army of 20,000? Were they able to achieve the mission that they were given by Genghis Khan? This is what we shall look at in our lecture tomorrow night after Isha at the same time. Wallahu a'lam. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.